Present Islam in people's understandable language. If you are presenting the Quran to people who know English, then you need to prepare a translation of the Arabic Quran in English and give it to them. Moreover, the people of a certain language do not just want a literal translation from Arabic into their own language, but they would also require you to take into consideration their idiom, the manner of speech, etc. This becomes a very difficult task. You have to understand and study the language of the addressee and prepare yourselves according to your local area. If you live in a place where people speak the Hindi language, you will have to learn Hindi, its idiom and manner of speech, etc., and then prepare a translation of the Quran in the Hindi language to address the minds of the Hindi-speaking people. If people speak some other language, you will have to learn that language and prepare a translation of the Quran in that language. You ought to be very serious for this task. The more serious you are, the more you will prepare yourselves for this. Being serious is a necessity. What does it mean to be serious? When you are in the midst of people and want to present the Quran to them, you will think yourself, what language do they understand? What is its idiom? Then you will prepare a translation which is understandable to them. For example, according to research, there are more than 50 English translations of the Quran, but English readers do not find them easy and convenient to read. This is because they were literal translations and did not take into account the English idiom. If you present the Quran to someone, it should be in his or her understandable language and idiom. If you are serious, you will think about this. You will meet people and question them to understand them, their language, and their idiom. I will give you my own example. When I was in Lucknow, an acquaintance of mine took me to meet another person who lived in a market there. When we met, he asked me some questions. I noted down his questions and tried to understand them in depth. I tried to understand why he was asking the questions he asked and what he wanted to know. Then I prepared a translation of the Quran in English in an understandable language. People all across the world acknowledge that our translation of the Quran in English is understandable and easy to read. So I will advise that we have to present translations of the Quran and Islamic material to our addressees that are easily understandable